Hello, everybody out there in Airland. This is Chris from RageLegacy.com with another exciting episode of My Talking Head. Let's just cut right to the chase. It has happened. Fire and Brimstone, The Walking Dead, is coming back for a 5th year to Halloween Horror Nights 26. It's already, the shockwaves have been felt all over social media. It is everywhere. People are either loving this or hating this. At this point, guys, it's a 50-50 thing. It's coming back, and we all knew it was coming back. I don't know why there are some people out there who, for some reason, didn't know that it was coming back. You should have been obvious at this point. I mean, the show is still very popular, guys. The show is still very popular. It's still the #1 most watched show on television, despite its recent, the last finale, I guess, dropped 10% from the finale of the year before. But even with a 10% drop, it's still the most watched show on television, despite, not including, like, sports stuff. Because, like, I think the most watched show every year, the most watched thing on television every year is the Super Bowl. Followed by, like, the Super Bowl, and there's, like, the Super Bowl post-show. And then The Walking Dead is like third every year. But in terms of scripted shows, it's still the most watched show on television. So, it's still very popular. It still brings in the money. For me, I just don't care. For me personally, I just don't care. It could be any property. I don't care if it's Wishmaster. I don't care if it's, Chud, for that matter. As long as as long as the house is done good, if it's a quality house, the property name does not bother me. And it's the most generic thing in the world. It's zombies. That's all it is. It's a zombie house, in my opinion. And as long as it's done well, I don't care. Now, that being said, I will say that the last 4 years, okay, they're kind of 50-50 for me. The first house, I thought was horrible. The second house, they improved on it, and it was a much better house than the year before. I quite enjoyed the mega house. I know some people had some issues with it because they were confused while walking through the house. And last year, I thought they missed the mark. Last year's house, it seemed to me that they had much bigger plans for The Walking Dead last year, and for whatever reason, they decided to put it in the parade building, and that was a mistake. They did not have the room. They did not have the resources in that space to make the house as good as they tried. I'll give them credit for that. They tried, but it was not a good house. So, again, my opinion on this is, and I've said this since day one. As long as the house is a quality house, I don't care. As long as they put the effort into it and they make a quality house, I don't care. It could be whatever property. It can have a different name. I don't give a shit. As long as the house is done well. So now they have this year's house is going to incorporate all 6 seasons of the show, and that brings me to another point. This ever-changing insider information about contracts and things like that. Like when the property was first brought to the event, the original rumor was that it was a 3-year contract, and after 3 years they were going to get rid of it. Thus, the mega house in 2014, and that was going to end it. And then, of course, we know that's not the case because they had a house last year. They're having a house this year for the 5th year in a row, and that insider information keeps changing. 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. Who the fuck knows? All we know is that the show is still very popular, and it still brings in the money and still brings in the people. So as long as that keeps happening, the house is going to stay, guys. The house is going to stay. I have a feeling that this might be the last year for it, but I don't know. I don't have any insider information on that. Full disclosure, I knew this house was coming very early on. Or confirmation that I knew the house was coming last year, guys. I said it in my review for the event last year. This should come as no surprise. The house was coming back. But I did know that this house, when I got confirmation it was coming, I was like, this is going to be interesting because it is the 5th year, and I was very curious to see how people's reactions to it were. And it's split. It's 50-50. You have, people who are like, oh, 5 years, and you have the other people who are like, oh, 5 years, who cares? It's like kind of like what I just don't care. I don't care. I don't care about what property it is, as long as it's a quality house. Go ahead and do it. Just make a good house. That's all I ask for. Just make a good house. And so far, they're kind of 50-50 for me. So, like I was saying before about the incorporation of all 6 seasons, I think that could be a good thing, especially for people who go through the Walking Dead houses and say that they're confused because they don't watch the show or whatever. I haven't watched the show since season 3. I'm not confused when I go through the houses, but I guess I can see a point where there are things in the house that might confuse people, but that's true for any property. If you're not a fan of, Freddy or Jason or Leatherface or Insidious for that matter, like I had not seen Insidious until after the house last year. So I mean I didn't know either, but I wasn't confused. I still enjoyed the house for what it was. But again, that goes back to conveying the storyline that you're trying to do within the house. Just like I said, make a good house. That's all you need to do is just make a good house. Despite all this thing about, well, Art and Design hates the Walking Dead property. Well, that's fine. It's still your job to make a quality house. That is what you do. That is your job. Make the house. Make a quality house. And as long as that is done, as long as they make a quality house and don't say, well, we don't fucking care, and they go ahead and make a shitty house, that's on A&D. That's not on marketing or Comcast, because it's A&D's job to create a quality house. And I will stand by that until the day I die. It is their job to do it. If your boss tells you to do something, you do it, and you do it to the best of your ability. You don't skimp on it because you don't like the task or you don't like what your boss has set you out to do. You do your job to the best of your ability. So if the houses, let's go back to the last 4 years, if the houses, especially that first house and last year's house, if they just said, well, fuck it, we don't care, that's wrong, guys. That's not how you conduct things. You're given a task, you do it. And it's their job to create a quality house. No matter what it is. It could be The Walking Dead, it could be The Exorcist, it could be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I get that there are properties that they are more excited about than other properties. I mean, that's human nature and whatever. But it's still your job to create a quality house. So this overwhelming hatred for Comcast and marketing and whatever, 5 years Walking Dead or whatever, it's not their job to build a house. They're told, A&D is told to build a house. They need to create the best house that they can. It's not on Comcast and it's not on marketing. It's A&D's job. That's the way it is, guys. That is how it is. But like I said before, I don't care. I don't care what property it is, as long as they create, the best house they possibly can. I'm fine with it. I have never had a problem with The Walking Dead being at the event ever. I just cared about, the quality of the houses. So, but that's it, guys. So Walking Dead is coming back. I know it's a very controversial topic, but it is what it is. I know I say that a lot, but in this case, it is what it is. If you're not excited about The Walking Dead coming back, then you're not the demographic that Comcast is trying to pull in. If you don't watch the show, you're not the demographic that Comcast is trying to pull in. That's the way it is. And that can be for any property, no matter if it's The Walking Dead, or if it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or if it's The Exorcist, or American Werewolf in London, or whatever. I mean, it is what it is. If you're not, then don't go to the house. That's just the bare bone facts of it, guys. I don't fault anybody for hating on this property. I'm not trying to, be, a snob or anything like that. I just feel that people get a little too uptight about it. And it is very funny to watch people's reactions to it. Yeah, I was waiting for it, and it is what it is. There's, maybe one or two more properties I'm waiting to see people's reactions to, but, it is what it is, guys. So Walking Dead's coming back. I have a feeling that with the next announcement, because this was almost announced the same sort of way as last year, where it was just, oh, hey, Walking Dead's coming back. And then, it was kind of passed away, and then the next announcement sort of overshadowed that. And I have a feeling that is what's going to happen this year as well. The next announcement will probably overshadow this announcement today. So, but and it's only June. It's the first week of June. Oh, my Lord. But at least, hey, you know what? We have Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we have The Exorcist, 2 properties I'm highly looking forward to, and I know a lot of other people are. Walking Dead is what it is. I am actually very excited about some of the stuff that may or may not be coming this year, so we'll see moving forward. But that's it, guys. So, one other thing I wanted to mention is that the other day when I was down at the parks, I experimented with the Facebook Live thing, and I've actually been thinking about, now that we have this announcement, I've been thinking about maybe in the near future, doing a Q&A session, a Facebook Live comment and Q&A session, where we can just talk Horror Nights. Whether it's your hatred for The Walking Dead, or whether it's how much you're excited about The Exorcist, or whatever, rumors, I don't care. Past experiences, it doesn't matter. So look out for that in the future. But as for now, guys, I will talk to you later.